through an academic journal, you'll find all sorts of articles, and not just articles on different topics, but different types of articles. This article is a comment article, which you can see in the upper right-hand corner, which basically means it's a viewpoint or commentary article. So it's more likely to hold opinion than a research article is. But one thing to take note on comment articles, they're going to be shorter than regular articles, and this one's on the changing face of global child demographics. If we scroll down, this is about 2 pages long, and it has some illustrations, some graphs for us. But when I get to the top of the 3rd page, it ends. But it's still, even though this is an opinion piece or more of a commentary piece, it still gives us a bibliography. The other thing that it gives us is information on the authors and where they're associated with, how to contact them, and also they have declared that they have no conflicts of interest. So this means that if they were writing an opinion piece on a certain drug, they're not profiting off of that drug. That's why they declare that they have no conflict of interest. So the thing I really want you to take note of here, even in a commentary opinion piece, you're going to find a bibliography. Because even though they're giving their opinion on something, they're backing it up with credible information. This is another article from an academic journal. In fact, this is from the Journal of the American Medical Association, which is also known as JAMA. Again, this is a viewpoint article, which it tells us at the top. We've got the title of it. They're talking about distracted driving. And we've got the author's names. We've also got the author credentials. So we've got somebody with an MD and somebody with both an MD and a PhD. Now I'm going to scroll down a bit. I've got author affiliation. So it looks like Coben is with the Injury Control Research Center in West Virginia University, and both Coben and Zhu are with West Virginia University, Morgantown. There's information on how to contact them. And again, it continues to remind us that it's a viewpoint article. Even though it's a viewpoint article, they talk about conflict of interest and any disclosures they need to make. So we know if they're in any way going to profit or receive some kind of benefit from what they're telling us. And again, we've got a bibliography for more reading. So again, they're backing up what they're saying in a viewpoint article with actual credible information. This article again is from the Journal of the American Medical Association, or JAMA. So it's a good academic journal. And again, at the top of the page, they actually tell us what type of article it is. So this is a letter. What that generally means is it's a letter to the editor on some topic or some article that's been published in JAMA previous to this issue. Here we've got the article that was previously published, and then a letter to the editor about that previously published article. And usually they're not saying way to go. Usually they are saying there's something wrong with this article, we need to discuss it further. So the other thing that I want to show you about a letter to the editor, it's obviously going to be short, but it gives an opinion. But if we go down to the bottom of it, again, we get author information, she's a PhD, author affiliation, conflict of interest disclosures, and then lastly, when I scroll up to the top of the page, I get a reference list or a bibliography. So even though this is even more opinion than a commentary might be, we are getting credible information that backs up her opinion. This article is what we would more think of as a traditional academic journal article, meaning that it's a research article based off of somebody's experiments, and it's reporting the findings. So they wrote up and published their findings for the field or discipline. There's several things we need to look at. First of all, you're going to base your first look through to see if it's an article for you on the title of the article. But then you want to go ahead and read the abstract, because it's a summary of the actual article. Read that paragraph and see further whether it's the article you want or not. Academic articles, especially research articles, should be treated somewhat like academic books in that you don't just pick it up and read it from beginning to end, or at least very few people read articles like that. Rather, they take the title, the abstract, first determine whether they want to read it, Maybe look at the introduction. There may be a possibility after the introduction that they've decided, no, I don't want to read this after all. But then if they go on to read the rest of the article, chances are they'll skip from the introduction down to the conclusion, then go back to the methodology, read through the data and findings, and then maybe check out the bibliography. So you may be skipping around in an academic journal article to find what you want first. So it may not make sense to read it from beginning to end. Here's some things to look at. First, we've got our authors and where they are associated with. So they're all associated with universities. We could Google their name plus their university, find out their credentials, find out if they're working in a department that it makes sense that they're actually publishing an article on the effect of Twitter on college student engagement and grades. So that might be a psychology department, it might be a sociology department. This is a 14-page article, so it's not going to be a quick article to read. They've got the role of the funding source, so that gives you some more information. Let's say we were talking again about a drug and the funding source was Pfizer, a large drug company. Obviously there might be some bias involved there, so that's why they're going to give you the funding source. So where they got the money to do this research. You can determine whether that source was biased or not. And then we've got the bibliography. All right, the other thing that we want to look at is the citation information that you'll need if you were going to cite this article. So the first thing, we've got the title of the article, we've got the authors of the article, we've got a DOI, which in fact you usually need the DOI to cite it, so you'll want to write that down. DOI stands for Digital Object Identifier, and it's a better way of locating the article than a URL is. That's why you want to give it to your readers so they are able to follow up with the article and read it if they find it in your bibliography. Really what we need are the journal title, which is Journal of Computer Assisted Learning, the date of publication, which is 2011, the volume number, which is volume 27, and the pages that this article appeared on in that issue, which is 119 through 132. Now the piece of information it doesn't give us is an issue number. Sometimes journal articles don't give that to you, so we don't have it to give to in our citation.